strangest last meal requests. In 1963, a murderer named Victor Fego was sentenced to death row with the murder of a doctor. Now, instead of anything extravagant, Victor actually requested a single olive with the pit still in. It's believed that he wanted to be buried with the pit so an olive tree would grow from his grave, as an olive tree is actually a symbol of peace. This is reinforced by the fact that the olive pit was found in his suit pocket after the execution. The next one's a fun one. Thomas J. Grasso was a 32-year-old man executed in 1995 for the murder of an elderly couple. He confessed to both crimes immediately upon being arrested by New York detectives. Now, unlike the last request, this one is quite extravagant. He requested, and I quote, 2 dozen mussels, 2 dozen clams, a half dozen spare ribs, a double cheeseburger from Burger King, 2 strawberry milkshakes, half a pumpkin pie, strawberries, and a can of SpaghettiOs with meatballs. Now, the evil part from the prison is that they actually use regular spaghetti instead of SpaghettiOs. And just to accentuate this, I'm not joking here, Grasso's last words were, "I did not get my SpaghettiOs, I got spaghetti. I want the press to know this." The next one is actually quite wholesome for the crime. Philip Workman was a 28-year-old man who shot and killed a police officer while robbing a Wendy's in Memphis. Shortly after being arrested for this, he was sentenced to death by lethal injection. As a sort of attempt to build up some karma or whatever, Workman did not request a meal for himself and in fact requested vegetarian pizza to be given to the homeless as his last meal. Prison officials actually denied this request for some reason, and so Workman refused to eat anything. However, with the goodness of humanity, the day of his execution, homeless shelters across Tennessee actually received vegetarian pizzas from all over the country as a show of goodwill. In 2010, Ronnie Gardner was executed to death by firing squad. He was sentenced to this for the murder of 2 men, within 1 year of each other. His last meal was also extravagant like the one from before, and contained a steak, a lobster tail, 1 apple pie, some vanilla ice cream, and a cup of 7-Up. Now, this sounds fairly until he requested to watch through the whole Lord of the Rings trilogy while eating the meal, and the prison officials actually granted this. As an honourable mention, a man was actually reported to request a Bible as his last meal, and instead of reading it, he actually ate the whole thing. Unfortunately, this actually turns out to be a hoax, so I won't be mentioning it in this. Like and follow for more.